Found one interesting hit from that sign-in sheet. Kyle Mellors.
Who's Kyle Mellors?
He's a record producer. And this is from his company website.
Heritage Records?
Sounds benign, right? But then you begin clicking around that website. It's hardcore WP.
WP?
White power. Check out the links on that site. Nazi memorabilia. An ethnic cleansing video game. Picture of Hitler in an Uncle Sam top hat and suit with his arm out, pointing. And here's some praise for the 9/11 hijacks.
Wish we had the guts to do what they did. Holocaust barbecue sauce, 6 million served.
They deny the Holocaust and celebrate it simultaneously.
A neat trick. Did you listen to the records?
I just read the catalog descriptions. It's all about mud people and white supremacy and killing Jews and blacks.
So Mellors is a neo-Nazi who went to the hearing to support Anders.
There's a link on the Heritage Records website, which has been raising money to fight Anders' deportation.
Stefan Anders, innocent man targeted by Zionist opportunists?
You get into Heritage Records financials, and I bet you'll find they've been shoveling money into Anders' defense fund.
I'll get a subpoena. Have Briscoe and Green drop in on Mellors for a chat.
Briscoe and Green. That ought to push his buttons.
We're in the middle of a session.
Ours is just starting.
Whoa, the fuzz.
The fuzz, I haven't heard that since the 60s.
Everything old is new again. Kyle Mellors?
How can I help you, gentlemen?
Oh, hey, man, we need to ask you a few questions about Stefan Anders.
Don't know the man.
You raised money for him.
Well, I give money to the ASPCA too, but doesn't mean I'm on speaking terms with every mutt in the kennel.
So you don't know this Mutt Anders?
Nope, never met him.
But you like the things he stands for.
My customers like the things he stands for. Look, detectives, I'm a record producer. You know, controversy sells records.
And Stefan Anders is controversial?
You bet. And now he's been arrested for murder. Our website hits are through the roof. Yeah, we're gonna ride this guy all the way to the end.
Hope he gets a death penalty. We can retire.
No surrender.
That's their debut album.
You produce this garbage?
That one's a little extreme.
How about this one?
That's our biggest seller. New Glory.
You signing for us?
Who should I make it out to?
New York's finest.
Back again.
Yeah, remember the CD you laid on us?
Oh, you like it?
Oh, we loved it. Especially the part where your fingerprints match some prints we found at the crime scene.
You're under arrest for the murder of Leah Glazer.
Call Graham Wilson.
You have the right to remain silent, which I highly recommend. You have the right to return.
You're going down, Mr. Mellors, and your hero's going with you.
What if it was an accident? If someone went there to talk to her, not to kill her, and events transpired in a certain tragic, unforeseen way, wouldn't that be manslaughter?
We know that Leah Glazer didn't die accidentally. After her killer knocked her down and cracked her skull, he smothered her.
I won't entertain anything less than murder one for Mr. Anders.
Your client, on the other hand, can still plead to murder two as a hate crime.
As a hate crime? What the hell does that mean?
Adds 5 years to your sentence.
20 to life, Mr. Mellors. It's as good as it gets. Tell us what transpired between you and Mr. Anders, and you may not spend the rest of your life in prison.
I keep telling you. Mr. Anders had nothing to do with this.
How would you know if you weren't there? Just as I thought. We're trying you both for murder in the first degree. Together. Mellors.
We analyzed a set of bilateral thumbprints and 2 full sets of fingerprints found on the frame surrounding Mrs. Glazer's door.
Did you identify these fingerprints?
Yes. They belong to the defendant, Kyle Mellors.
Did you find any other fingerprints belonging to Mr. Mellors?
Yes. On Mrs. Glazer's locket, we found a thumb and forefinger.
What about...
Oh, you know, my client, Stefan Anders, was there one day, outside the apartment door, and Mr. Mellors on another day entirely, outside and inside the apartment.
That's certainly possible, yes.
No further questions.
As the co-owner of Heritage Records with Mr. Mellors, what is your mission statement?
To make money.
No ideology?
Capitalism. Capitalism is our ideology.
Are you a Nazi, neo-Nazi, fascist?
I've been called all those things, but what I am is an independent entrepreneur.
Is Mr. Mellors a neo-Nazi?
Objection. If Mr. Mellors wants to speak to his political beliefs, let him take the stand.
Sustained.
Some of your bands espouse rather radical views.
That's their right under the First Amendment.
Do you share their views?
I believe in what sells.
Look, death is the worst thing that could have happened to me. Whatever happens here, now I will be deported. Because someone killed her. Someone. Not me.
Your witness.
Have you reached a verdict?
We have.
As to the defendant Kyle Mellors on the first count of the indictment, murder in the first degree, how do you find?
We find the defendant, Kyle Mellors, guilty.
As to the defendant Stephen Anders on the first count of the indictment, murder in the first degree, how do you find?
We find the defendant, Stephen Anders, guilty.